What up? What up? What up? What up? What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? What's going on? What's going on, man? What's going on, y'all? This is your boy Tay Biz. Everybody, welcome to Tay Biz TV. So happy to have everyone in the building so far. Excuse me. We are good. We are here. You saw the thumbnail. We're going to talk about the indictment of Michael McKee. This is involving the Tepe murders that happened in Ohio, and it's a few things that we're going to talk about as well. We're going to talk about definitely the actual indictment, and then the actual murder counts and things of that nature. It's like 5 of them, but it's 2 murders, but it's 5 counts. The indictment is a little bit. It has some stuff with firearms and all that kind of stuff, but also there's some new developments, some new, I guess, new details of the case, and things of that nature that we're going to talk about and get into. So definitely want to make sure that we have everybody in the building. And also we're going to get into this new thing called icebreakers, man. I got this idea I wanted to do where, in the beginning of the show, kind of like break the ice a little bit before we get into the heavy stuff, the heavy duty stuff and all that. And so I wanted to get into a certain topic. These are icebreakers. You don't know what they're going to be, but we're definitely going to take a look and see what we're going to react to and talk about here. And I'm curious to see what the chat thinks and what people think about this particular this video of this young lady that we're going to get into, and her reaction to an actual video that the podcast were reacting. So listen, it's gonna be good. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun. Salty is in the building. Good evening. What up, though? What up, though? Salty got Simply Chill in the building. Saying Biz Nation. What up, though? For sure. Got my girl Keisha. Hey, Biz Nation in the building. What up, though? She said, "Hey, my girl." She's talking about chill. Talking about my wife. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Hey, how you doing? All right. Oh, all that good stuff, man. Oh, man. We got Time in the building. Shout out Time, man. Shout out Time in the building. KJ and the Cat family. It's been a minute. Happy New Year's, and everyone. May God bless all opportunities that are coming your way in 2026. Man, I definitely received that, brother. I received that. This is awesome, man. This is awesome. I'm so happy that you are here, yo. I'm so happy that you are here, man. I'm thankful that you came back and came and chill with your boy, man. You know what I'm saying? Came to chill with your boy. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, we are definitely going to get into this, man. He always got the positive energy, man. Time is always coming through with the positivity for sure. Always coming through with the positivity. Well, thank you, Salty. Thank you. I am doing well. I'm doing well today. I am doing well today. I have worked today, and then I took a power nap. When you get over 40, right, you start napping. You start taking little quick naps. You feel me? And so I'm definitely did that today. Something I don't normally do. But turned 43. Hey, it's time to nap a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Time to nap a little bit, man. Yes. So I'm thankful. Listen, I'm really grateful because I'm doing this. I'm doing a new thing in my life right now. New journey, new challenges, and stuff like that. And so trying to put myself in a position to be a little bit more in a healthy way, right? And things of that nature. So I started a journey that I'm going to take on this year, and I am excited about it. I'm excited about it, and I feel really good, actually. I mean, this is like literally day 2 of it, but I feel really good, and so I'm definitely in the right direction when it comes to certain things. So I'm happy. I'm happy today. I got some good energy today, and sometimes when you have that good energy, man, you gotta hold on to it. You know what I'm saying? You got to hold on to it. Look, everybody, y'all know about these naps. Look, Saudi said I took my power nap after the day. I took my power nap after the day for sure. Absolutely. You got to. She just said I'm supposed to be napping right now, but we live. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna hold you on too long. You know what I'm saying? But I want to give us some good information. I want to give us some good information about this case. This is a very interesting case when it comes to Michael McKee. It looks like things are pointing in the direction that he did it. It looks like it. Okay, on the outside looking in, if you wanted to take a look at something, okay, if you look at this case for what it is, you would say, yeah, he did it. All right, you would say, yeah, he did it. But there are some things that has happened that transpired during the process of this case, and it's like, okay, what about this? What about that? What about this? The fact that there's no phone call to the police about a gunshot, and then come to find out that he had a silencer on this particular weapon. Things like that. Allegedly, he had, right? So, this is again very interesting situation here. All right, so we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it, but before we do that, we're going to get into something called icebreaker. All right, so this is my first introduction. This is my first thing we're going to do. All right, icebreaker. Let's go. All right. Clap it up for the production real quick, though. You know what I'm saying? The production going on, man. All right, check this out. I don't know if a lot of people have seen this before. I have seen this before, but listen, check this out. This is the icebreaker, is where we get to have a nice little topic, a little, a very casual topic before we get into our main topic, right? And so I wanted to talk about this because what this young lady said, all right, what this young lady said on this podcast is like super left, like egregious at best, right? But I'm curious about something that she said, because something that she said, actually, there are some ladies who might they might agree with this lady. Okay, so we just want to keep it open to see what people would think. Okay. Salty said a new document dropped. I don't have it yet, but I've read about it. Not good for McKee. Yeah, I think there's an article that I read today that came out, and I was trying to get a hold of the affidavit for Michael McKee. We're gonna get into that later, though. Time, I appreciate you, man. He said, always be grateful and thankful. I feel that, Tepe, is one of the things that I'm blessed, is that I can wake up and be fruitful to my family with the Lord's help. Absolutely, 100%. 100%. She said, Trikisha say, should we buckle up? Yes, we should buckle up. It's about to be serious. It's about to get crazy. All right. It's about to get crazy. All right. Oh, man. Appreciate your time about the production. I appreciate you, man. So let's check this out real quick. I'm not going to delay the time any further. This is absolutely insane what's about to take place. We're about to watch this. We're going to react to this together, man. I want to know what you all think about this. All right, here we go.
He can't have no kids.
I don't want a man with kids. I don't want a man that comes with drama. I don't want a man with a baby mom. I don't want it attached to me. I want to date someone and have them be in love with me and me only.
I kind of feel her, because my delulu, I never wanted a man that had a sister or a living mother. Like, your mom's gotta be. You got a sister? How many sisters you got? 3? Nah, get on them out of here. I was dead.
Serious. Your mom's has to be.
First of all, don't judge me when I'm speaking my truth.
No, I have to. You can't. Your mom's has to be.
Yeah. The way some mothers are with their sons, and the way that they treat their sons like they man, and that is disgusting. Bruh. Like, if you got plans with me, you gonna dub me because your mother needs to go to the supermarket. So now I gotta wait for hours because you gotta go with your mother to the supermarket. Where's her man? I know we had plans, but my sister need me to. Where's your dad?
Women don't like competition.
But I'm not your competition.
Yes, you
I'm your
are.
brother's girlfriend. I'm your
You're vying
son's
the way
girlfriend.
she loves him against the way that you
Go see the lady.
That's all you doing right now. Is like, I don't like the fact that somebody else cares about your well-being more than me. The idea of them to judge me.
I'm not coming second to no other woman. I need to be able to call my man. I can't rely on my man because at any given day he got to do something for 6 other bitches.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm out of here. You lost me. Marry your mother.
Yo, listen. I need to know. I need to hear something. I need. She said your mom's fellas gotta be excommunicado. No sisters. You can't have any sisters. You can't have a living mother, is what she said. And she said that she don't want to come second to nobody. And use the example of a man taking his mother grocery shopping, which is a very interesting example that she gave. The reason why it's interesting is because food is a necessity. Okay? Food is a necessity. And you're doing something for your mother that is a necessity. And she's getting upset because you are doing that instead of being able to be at command availability at this particular time. All right. Now, ladies, I'm going to be honest with you. You all love to talk about y'all experience of us. But let me tell you, men, we have an experience of you all. You don't want the unadulterated truth of it. Trust me. Trust me. If you care about your emotions, you care about your feelings, you don't really want us to give you the full Monty truth about what it's like as a man dealing with a woman. Women have no problem telling men what it's like as a woman dealing with a man. And we got to hear it, and we got to hear it, and we got to hear it. Okay. She's saying, I don't want to come second to nobody. Now, in that example that she gave, what did she want? what did you want? I'm at the grocery store taking care of my mom's real quick, make sure she got some food in the crib. I'm gonna take her back to the crib. But she said something interesting. She said, where's her man at? So this is interesting because you listen, okay, Trakisha. Actually, Tepe, we need you need it, but hearing it, some women do not want to hear it. Some women do not want to hear it. And the fact that she had that type of mindset shows the carnality, and it shows the fallacy of our way of thinking on our own when it comes to no guidance. No one taught her that. No one taught her that she needed to look for a man that has no sisters and no living mother. No one taught her that. That is straight up her. That's straight up her. Tom said she's very controlling. I don't know how many home cooked meals you're going to get from this woman, and shout out to all these stepdads. Listen, man. Listen. That's crazy, man. You know, that's one thing I appreciate about my marriage is that I have someone who appreciates my mother. You know what I'm saying? Just like I appreciate her mother and father. You feel me? She appreciate my pop. You know what I mean? Like she loved my pop. When she saw my pop, it was like she just was lit up, you know? I mean, so it's like that's family. You want a man with no family so that way you can control. When my man said you don't want to have no competition, she said it's not about competition, it's about being second. Well, that's competition. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, you competing. Where do you think these places came from? It came from competitions. If you run in a race and you're in a competition, you come in first, second, or third place. Anybody after third place, they don't even care about you no more. You honorable mentions, but they don't care, right? But that is exactly what it is. Very controlling was a very good a good observation on that, is that controlling in a way to ensure that there is no type of conflict that could come her way. There are people who need to have control based upon insecurity. Here we go. Here we go. I like topics like this, man. Y'all gonna get a lot of different facets of me this year. Okay. Last year I was very, like, I didn't talk about myself a lot, of my views a lot. But I just have perspectives and observations. All right. And I like to hear to understand. Right. So that's why I wanted to hear her, because there is a piece of me when she said something about the mother having her own relationship, that she would want that to be, a thing. Where's she at? Where's he at? But that right there, again, that's the fleshly part of us that I can understand. But the actual foundation of her logic, the foundation of her wanting that is for control. And there are some people who control based upon an insecurity. And insecurity is lodged inside of fear. If you don't fear anything, then you don't need to have a stranglehold or a control on something. You're trying to stranglehold and grip it down and control it so that way you won't feel no hurt. You won't feel no abandonment. You won't feel any neglect. You won't feel none of that. So you want to control everything so that way you can make sure of you, so you can ensure your own personal satisfaction of yourself. But you're doing it through the detriment of someone else's feelings. You're doing it through the detriment of someone else's stance on how they are with their own parents. And so I've had experience before where a young lady had a terrible relationship with her mother. I'm talking about terrible. And her dad didn't really want anything to do with her either. And I'm saying to myself, if your own parents don't want to deal with you, what am I doing? This is years ago. I'm like, what am I doing? And this is when I was really trying to figure things out. I'm like, something ain't right. And then you want to play this role of victim, which she did in this video. Why am I being judged to speak my truth? I think this my truth this phrase, speaking my truth, I think we have overdone cooked this boy. It's well done. The steak is rough. It's cardboard at this point. The chicken breast is dry. All right. This speaking my truth is getting more and more egregious. You can't even have a conversation with someone because they feel judged because their truth is being looked at or scrutinized. Well, this is the basis of the conversation. Without offense, you won't have a dialogue. You won't have if you're in the conversation, if you're really coming into a conversation with good faith, being offended is going to be a part of it, especially if it's something to deal with you. If you are the culprit in this particular conversation, the feeling of offense is going to happen. That does not mean that you have, but see, some people feel offended and they feel isolated. They feel abandoned because of the offense. They feel like then they go into a victim thing. You always saying this. You always saying that. And it's like, this is the first time I've mentioned this. I've not always said anything. Then they go into these absolutes. Well, you never clean up and you never give me attention. It's like, see, now you're going into absolutes because I need to set a boundary and I need to expand my capacity on you. You're now having a problem. A lot of people have these in relationships. Relationships is a mirror. You have these issues. All right. Now it's your turn to accept the responsibility for this issue that impacts me in this relationship. And it impacts me negatively. And I'm just bringing it to your attention. I'm not yelling at you, screaming at you, or any of that, which is what we need to stop doing in our relationships too, because we're disrespecting each other. But I'm not doing any of that. The mere mention that the other person has to take responsibility, and the first thing they do is deflect. You have already went into another realm of a different issue. And most of the time, that issue is not you, it's that person. They try to make it be you in the midst of that conversation because they're offended that you had to check them on something or bring something to their attention. You know, as I'm bringing this to your attention because it impacts me negatively. And we're supposed to have an effective communicated relationship. How can I communicate with you without you always going into this little girl, little boy tantrum thing that you do? You know, that is something that really impacts relationships negatively. Like, just take a moment to look at yourself for a change, because we do it every single day. Before we leave out our house, we go to that mirror every single day to make sure that everything is in place. That's the same way with a relationship. A relationship is a reflection of you. And if you are putting things in place in your relationship, that means that what you're looking at in each other, things are put in place. We are ready to present ourselves to the world. Because you're one, especially when you're married, you're one. When you engage, when you're actually in a significant relationship, a courting relationship, you're one. You're walking as one, two agreeing as one, you know? And so there has to be some leadership on one side and some following on the other side, some understanding on one side, some acceptance on the other side, some correction on one side and some understanding on this side about it. Like, it has to be some type of humility in the relationship. This woman don't want you to have, according to what we just saw in the video for the icebreaker, she don't want you to have nothing. She don't want you to have a sister or a mother to control. And then she tried to make sense of it, which is nonsense, by saying she don't want to come second to anyone. Well, what makes you think you would come second to a man if his mother is still living? You see? So what makes you think that you will be second to while his mother is living? Who is to say that his mother needs him like that all the time? You know? Yeah, there's going to be some times where, see, as you get older, your parents get older, you have to look after them or take care of them or make sure they're okay and all that kind of stuff. That doesn't mean that you a mama's boy or you're a mama's girl or you're a daddy's boy or a daddy girl. You just take care. You just doing life, man. You're just doing life. You're just doing what the Bible say, honoring your mother and your father, you know? And so, you know, because I mean, hey, y'all know last month when my pop had the stroke, I'm telling you, when I got the call right there in Detroit the next morning, boom. Because he was already having the surgery and all that kind of stuff that night. So it was like, no, just stay, just come. I'm like, Lou, I'll be there tomorrow morning. I got up early in the morning. Me and my wife, we went to Detroit. My plan was to go to Detroit for my birthday week at the end of the month. And I've been there twice. You see what I'm saying? Now, if I would have had someone be like, you just gonna drop everything? You need to go to work. Your papa's gonna be okay. You need to go to work. If I had somebody like that, do you know I wouldn't be with them anymore? That's a draw. Like, hold on. that is your parent. And if I love you and I love your family, then I mean I love your mother and your father. You love my mother and my father. So we are going to do this together. But that has nothing to do with us. This is us attacking something together. And that's one of the things that on the Intimate Insights, the podcast that me and my wife have, is that we talk about not attacking each other personally, hitting below the belt in conflict. You know, you're constantly hitting below the belt, and you know, instead of attacking the problem at hand, you attack each other. Okay, blaming each other for the reason why this bill went up. That day you took 4 baths is the reason why the water bill is $400. It's like, yo, man, dang. First, so you want a dirty chick? Like, okay, wow, let's go. What's going on, man? So a lot of times it's not that, it's something else. I always say, when you're arguing over the toothpaste, it ain't the toothpaste that's the issue. It is something else that you need to say, that you want to say, but you don't wait until you get so frustrated and then you blow up on each other and instead start saying stuff. Because then you start saying all the raw, gutless stuff that you've been wanting to say that and you can't take words back. So you got to be careful with what you say. Okay, you got to be careful what you say. Bible says, be swift to hear, slow to speak. So be careful just saying whatever you want to say on your mind, especially to someone that you say you love, because they ain't gonna forget that. And words carry power. They carry life and death. It's in the power of your tongue. So you got to be sure that what you say, you have processed it and analyzed it in your mind correctly, so that way you can articulate it and then have the conversation and have the back and forth, because iron sharpen iron, you know what I mean? But that right there was crazy work. That was actually crazy work, that video. So thank you for the icebreaker. I appreciate it, y'all. That's the icebreaker topic right there. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to know what you all thought about it as well. I know you all listen to me. That was giving my little 2 cents in, but I'm telling you, this was appreciated. Chill. She said that's a great icebreaker. I'm like, I saw this and I was like, man, this is like red flag on red flag on red flag. Imagine that it was flipped around, where it was one guy and 2 women, and the guy said, you got brothers and a daddy still living? Nah, I don't want nothing to do with you. There'll be nothing in the comments but narcissist. Oh, he had narcissist. You diagnosed this man with narcissism. He a sociopath. He a narcissist. I'm telling you, it'll be a whole different story. Simply not all women, but I feel she's been hurt, so went down the line. Absolutely, Tom. I think the same thing. I think that's what I'm saying. Nobody taught her that. That's something that occurred upon her. And she said her delusion is about having a man with sisters and a living mother. That's her delusion, because she thinks that she's going to come second because he got a family of women that might depend on him. And that may not, that is not always the case, y'all. That is not always the case. So shout out to the chat, man. Shout out to Biz Nation, yo, for rocking with me on that particular icebreaker. It is time to get into the case. Let's go. All right. So remember, just want to go over the timeline again real quick that we had here when it came to this case. All right, if everybody can see this. Remember that the Columbus police were called on a well-being check. That's how this whole thing got started. All right. So we're going to go over this real quick. This is how the whole thing got started, y'all. The Tepe murder. This is Monique and Spencer Tepe, or Spencer and Monique Tepe, I want to say it. They were murdered in their home. All right. And there was no forced entry when this occurred. Once the police finally came and searched the place, searched the house, there was no forced entry. So just to reiterate, on the 30th, police received the call for a well-being check around 10 o'clock on 1400 block of North 4th Street. Coworkers and friends reported that they had not heard from the couple. And then officers later found Spencer and Monique dead inside the residence. And several coworkers of Spencer, who was a dentist who practiced at a clinic in Athens, they called 911 after he failed to show up for work and could not be reached. All right. So callers told dispatchers the lack of contact was out of character. 911 calls was released by authorities. Coworkers reported being unable to reach either Spencer or Monique, and said the situation was becoming increasingly concerning. Police initially checked the home, but did not see anything suspicious. So this is the interesting part. Check the home, nothing suspicious. No forced entry. All right. We saw that the last week when we talked about this. We listened to the chief of police. She said that there was no sign of anything, no sign of tampering, no sign of forced entry, none of that, right? January the 2nd, Columbus police began seeking the public's help, asking that anyone who have video, photos, or any digital evidence related to the incident to submit it to a specialized QR code. The area in question ranged from Summit Street to North Grant Avenue and East 7th Avenue to East 11th Avenue around midnight to 9 a.m. on December 30th. Now, today is going to get real crazy. All right. So the 5th, police released a video of a person of interest in the case that was walking in the alley near Spencer and Monique's home around 2 a.m. to 5 a.m., which narrowed their timeline in question. All right. The footage does not show any person's face. All right. It doesn't show anyone's face, but it shows some clothes that they're wearing. That was very interesting. And they had a very interesting walk in this particular video that may be similar to Michael McKee's walk, allegedly, right? The chief of police on January the 8th, Elaine Bryan, spoke about the investigation for the first time. All right. And then that's pretty much where we are now. Then there's been some other developments going on from there. All right. So this is very, very interesting what's going on here. All right. Now, we want to get into the indictment real quick because the indictment is very interesting. I've never seen this before, and I want somebody to help me out who may have expertise in this because, again, I'm not necessarily a lawyer, but I'm like your common sense. I'm your common sense litigator, I guess, if you want to say it. I just try to use my logic and my common sense here to try to understand certain things. All right. This is very, very interesting. Let me just try to make it as big as I can, or is that good? Can everybody see this? If you can see this, put a 1 in the chat if you can all see this. My man Tom said I have to pick up my better half. Tepe as a chat family. Have a great rest of the show. Have a blessed night and better tomorrow. God bless. Bless you, bro. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to Tom real quick. Again, man, I appreciate you so much, dog. Thank you so much. Give me show Tom some love, y'all. All right. All right. So it says here that okay, I got a 1 here. It says sort of. Now this document is it's going to show very. It's somewhat fuzzy, but I can make it out on my end. All right. So we're gonna go here and say this is the indictment for aggravated murder with specifications, aggravated burglary with specifications, and aggravated murder with specifications is 2 counts. For the first one, it's 2 counts. For the second aggravated murder, then it's 1 count for the burglary. All right. Now, again, remember, there were no gunshots being reported. According to reports, the shooter used a silencer on the gun. Because I asked that question last week when this was fresh out the frying pan. I'm like, no one made a 911 call about a gunshot being heard in a suburb of Ohio, of all states. Like, the police don't play in Ohio. They don't chuckle. Okay. They don't chuckle. And so come to find out that allegedly he used a silencer. And the details of this we're going to get into tonight. It's going to be a little bit gruesome, so please hold on to your seatbelts for those of you. And I don't want to be. It's going to be some disturbing stuff here and there that we're going to talk about. All right, and we're not going to flash fry. We're going to medium cook a little bit. All right, we're not going to flash fry though. I appreciate you, Tom. Always, man. Appreciate you, brother. And thank you for the content compliment. I appreciate it, man. So this is a grand jury term beginning January 9th, 2026. This is where the grand jury began to gather, and then January 16th, this is what we have on. It says here, count 1, aggravated murder. This is the defendant, Michael McKee, on or about December 30th, 2025. It says the jurors of the grand jury of the state of Ohio, duly selected, all right, impaneled, sworn, and charged to inquire of crimes and offenses committed within the body of Franklin County in the state of Ohio, upon their oath, do find and present that Michael McKee, late of said county, on or about December 30th, 2025, within the county of Franklin, aforesaid, in violation of 2903.01 of the Ohio Revised Code, did purposely, with prior calculation and design, cause the death of Monique Tepe. Now, they're saying premeditated, prior calculation, premeditated murder. All right. Specification 1 to count 1. Firearm specification is 3 years. The grand jurors further find and specify that Michael McKee had a firearm on or about his person, on or under his control while committing the offense, and used it to facilitate the offense. Specification 2 to count 1. It says the grand jurors further find and specify that Michael McKee had a firearm that was equipped. You see, the wording is different. It was equipped with a firearm muffler or suppressor on or about his person or under his control while committing the offense. So not only he's getting charged with murder, he's also getting charged with murder of the firearm having a suppressor and having it on his person and facilitating it while he is murdering or unaliving Monique Tepe. Okay. Count 2, aggravated murder, Michael McKee. It reads exactly the same, except for at the end it says Spencer Tepe. Everything is exactly the same. All right. Prior calculation and design caused the death of Spencer Tepe. Specification 1 to count 2 is the same thing. Michael McKee had a firearm on or about his person or under his control while committing the offense and used it to facilitate the offense. Count specification 2 to count 2 is the same thing. Had a firearm that was equipped with a firearm muffler or suppressor on or about his person or under his control while committing the offense. Okay. Now, count 3 is aggravated burglary. Now, I don't know how they got this, but we're going to read this real quick. All right. Preliminary information is the same. The jurors of the grand jury of the state of Ohio, duly selected and panel sworn and charged to inquire of crimes and offenses committed with the body of Franklin County in the state of Ohio under their oath to do and under the oath, they do find and present Michael McKee on or about December 30th, 2025, within County of Franklin, did by force, stealth, or deception trespass as defined in section 2911.21A1 of the revised code. All right. In an occupied structure or in a separately secured or separately occupied portion of an occupied structure, when Spencer Tepe or Monique Tepe, a person other than the accomplice, was present with purpose to commit in the structure or in the separately secured or separately occupied structure, portion of the structure, any criminal offense, and the offender inflicted physical harm on Spencer and Monique Tepe, and or the offender had a deadly weapon, to it, a firearm on or about his person or under his control. Okay. Did by force, stealth, or deception trespass the home. Okay. Now, I don't understand this one because, and maybe someone, an expert, maybe I can find one who can help me understand how the burglary charge came to be when there was no suspicious evidence when the police arrived. That's number one. Number two, it says by force, right? By force. So I'm like, I don't understand the force part because there wasn't a broken doorknob or a broken door or anything. Okay. As a matter of fact, when the police went for the wellness check the first time, they left. They didn't even see anything suspicious. They knocked on the door and everything, and nothing, they didn't hear anything or anything. It was on the second trip where someone called and said that they heard children inside of the home, and they're knocking on the door and no one is answering and all that kind of stuff. That is where the police came and found them dead in their home. Okay. Now, so the by force part, I don't know how that happened. Okay, stealth, like breaking in, again, don't know how that happened. Or even if it's like, I don't know, other stealth ways to do things to go unseen. I still don't know how he did it and did not leave any evidence of anything that would be considered suspicious. And I'm kind of confused on that. Then I'm also kind of confused on the deception part, because to deceive someone, you have to interact with them. And to our understanding, or to what I've seen so far in these reports and articles and in these documents, I didn't see anything where it says that Monique or Spencer opened up the door and let him in to have any conversations with him or anything. Okay. So this is a very interesting charge to me. And again, it's the same, the specified firearm charge or that goes with this is the same. Okay. Using a suppressor, also having a firearm on or about his person and it was under his control while he was committing the offense. Then aggravated murder count 4, Michael McKee. It said again, the preliminaries. It says he did purposely cause the death. I'm right here. He did purposely cause the death of Monique Tepe while committing and or while fleeing immediately after committing the offense of aggravated burglary. Okay, so the aggravated murder count 4 is that he purposely caused the death while committing and or fleeing immediately. So he is charged for the murder. He's charged for the firearms being used in the murder, or the firearm being used in the murder. Then he's charged with burglarizing the home. And then he's charged with murder again while and leaving immediately after he did the murder. I'm so these indictments are so important, man. I'm telling you. As we can see in the YSL trial, you can get miscategorized, man. And I'm trying to figure out if they just overdid this. Because or if they overdid this on purpose, so that way he had to try to defend all facets of these charges to catch him up and slip him up into with one of these charges. I mean, if you just go by the exact information that you have in front of you, and the fact that he had a reputation while he was being married to her, he had a reputation of being controlling and being all that kind of stuff. And if you would, and then find firearms at his house and all that, like, you would be like, you know what, man, he did it. You know, you would probably think that. So anything you would charge him with of significance, like premeditated murder, first degree, or aggravated murder, things like that, you would be like, okay, that would probably be enough, right? That would, 2 counts, and then maybe the firearm count, right? And then so you got 3 counts against you, and that might be enough, you would think. These other charges here is getting a little bit confusing, right? So good question, Drakesha. This is a very good question. Was there a window open? Okay, did they have any cameras? If not, then we can't speculate if he did or didn't be let in. Exactly. So according to an article that I read, that it seemed like they had some sort of Ring camera or some type of camera footage, right? That they had on their home. I believe they had a Ring camera of some sort. However, okay, how he got in would be the $1 million question, because if the police did not see anything weird, crazy, or indifferent or suspicious, then how did he get into the home? And if they let him in, why would they let this man in? We're talking about a divorce that happened in 2015. Okay. That got started in 2015. A marriage ended in 2017, I believe, or something like that. And now, 9 years later, she got 2 kids and a new husband, and he a dentist, and they living their life and they doing their thing. Why would he come back and start knocking on the door and doing all that kind of stuff, right? These are all these questions, right? Then there's a question of the GPS showing his vehicle from Rockford, Illinois, where he resides, was right outside Chicago, driving 335 miles to the home, or in proximity of the home. Why did that is another piece of evidence that we need to look at and peruse, But good questions though. I mean, and again, because the police are the police, right? Elaine Bryant, who is the chief, she didn't give us much, especially when they started asking questions. Like when the reporters started asking questions about any type of connection, any type of interactions that that Michael McKee and Monique Tepe had. Did they have any type of communication? You know, because something occurred that we're going to get into. Something occurred that could shed some light on the possibility that some communication could have came about. There was some information that that we're going to go over today that will give us another like it's one of those things. Okay, it's definitely one of those things. I'm just cleaning my glasses, y'all. Excuse me. So yeah, we're going to get into that. All right. Right, exactly. The evidence will show he pled not guilty. This very interesting. He pled not guilty. Okay. So this is the count. This is the fourth count, and then fifth count is the same. For Spencer Tepe, where it says he did Michael. The jury did find and present that Michael McKee did purposely cause the death of Spencer Tepe while committing and or while fleeing immediately after committing the offense of aggravated burglary. So you shot him, or you shot him. You burglarized the home, shot and unalived and committed the offense of murder, and then you fled. That's another aggravated murder count. Okay. So this is 5 counts, y'all. Okay. Of murder. 4 counts of murder, 5 counts, 4 murder, and 1 burglary. Okay. This is like super interesting to me. Very, very interesting to me. There is a person on X. They go by the name of Unmasked True Crime. But before we get into that, there was some type of clerical error that occurred in Ohio back in 2025. Okay. And it's probably one of the most egregious errors, clerical errors that occurred, because it had something to do with the paperwork of Michael and Monique's divorce. Yes, that same divorce that happened in 2017. And so we're going to check out this real quick. I think this is very, very interesting, because what happens is when you get a divorce, or if your spouse do anything, let's just say, let's not even talk about divorce. Let's just talk about bankruptcy. Let's say you and your spouse, you are going to call it quits. You've done all you can. You exhausted all your options. You just like, you know what? Can't do it no more. I'm out of here. But before I go, I want to file bankruptcy because I got too much debt, too much stuff going on. And you can file certain chapters where it's good for you to go bankrupt, so that way you can have a fresh start. I mean, like, you got chapter 13 out there, chapter 11, chapter 7. You got different chapters of filing bankruptcy. Bankruptcy don't mean you broke. There are a lot of rich people file bankruptcy all the time. Like all the time they have filed bankruptcy. And And there's certain levels to this. So, but let's say, for instance, your spouse files bankruptcy, all right? And you go through a bankruptcy lawyer, or you just go through a bankruptcy firm, or whatever the case may be. By law, they have to inform your spouse that you're doing this, because the reason why is someone have to be responsible for the debt. Now, I know exactly what I'm talking about from experience. Okay. Someone has to be responsible for the debt. So while you're at home twiddling your thumbs, you can get a letter in the mail stating that your spouse is doing something like filing bankruptcy, and that there's documents that relinquishes all the responsibility of theirs that you accumulated together. It goes solely on you. So whatever you accumulated in your marriage in debt, it could go all on one person if that person is filing for bankruptcy, and they're also filing to make sure that they are no longer they are not the heir of any bankruptcy, that they're completely cleared of it. All right. When the court files a notice of any sort that deals with your divorce, paperwork begins to hit that post office like Steph Curry hitting a 3-point shot. All right. And same day, it's same day. And by that time, it is already out there. The copies of whatever the notices, whether this is a scheduled hearing, whether it's a notice of a scheduled motion hearing, or a mediation hearing, all these notices, they mail them out. All right. So this right here, we're going to look at what Ashley Banfield, and I placed the links in the description if you want to watch the whole thing, because we're not going to watch the whole of everything, because we have some other stuff we want to cover too. We have some new details, all right, that we want to cover as well. So this right here is what we're going to listen to, what Ashley Banfield from News Nation have to say. Shout out to News Nation. And Brian Enton is also using his podcast to talk about this as well. And I'm telling you, it is very, very interesting what is going on. All right, what has transpired in this process. This has happened a while ago. In the meantime, in between time, go ahead if you have any content suggestions, or if you have any type of reaction videos that you want me to react to, please go ahead and email me at taviastv@gmail.com. Also, don't forget to like, comment, share, and to subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and get into this.
But because this is the last 2 nights of the show Banfield, I could not possibly be off the air. And this is such an important story that we've come all this way. I wanted to make sure that we take it to the finish line. And boy, do I have some good information for you tonight. For starters, something really weird happened on the Ohio court dockets. Something so weird that it could possibly have something to do with the murders. I'm not going to say it does, but what I will say is that almost 9 years after a divorce, nobody should be getting notices that you've got a divorce hearing from an ex who Monique arguably told her family that she feared. Yeah, that happened. Somebody made a mistake in Ohio and put their divorce back on the record and on the docket. Guess what happens when that happens? Notices go out. 3 months after that hearing was scheduled, this murder happened. I'm going to get into the details of all of that in just a moment. And many of you have raised a question that I am right there with you. I don't get.
All right. Did you all hear that? look at this. Listen to me very clearly. I don't know how someone does this. Okay. How do you put an 8 to 9 year old divorce, back on the docket, back on the record, and have a scheduled hearing about it. Unbelievable. Listen, ASAP. Now, there are some people that will say, well, you know, these type of things happen a lot. No, it shouldn't happen a lot. If that's a problem. That's a problem. Now you got this woman, and come to find out, I believe that it was asked by a reporter something about Michael McKee having a second wife too, because he was married as well. Again, he got married again, I think, and then it didn't work out, I guess. You know, so, but it's also some other people saying that may not be true. So that's up in the air. But Monique is definitely married to Spencer, and just imagine you at the house and you get a piece of mail talking about a scheduled hearing for a divorce that you got 8 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is crazy. And then what did she say? 3 months after this occurred, or yeah, a few months after this occurred, the murder happened. This is a bombshell for sure. Okay, because there is no way in the world that should happen. There's no way in the world that should happen at all.
Edit. If Dr. McKee is the murderer of his ex-wife and her new husband, how did he get in? It is not as simple a question as you might think. This is a 2-story home. The bedrooms are on the 2nd floor. There are ring cams, security systems, and with 2 little kids.
You know what? I'm sorry. I think she got the numbers wrong, because she did say 3 months, but I don't think so, because I think this notice hearing happened like either it was June of 2025 or September of 2025. Is one of the two. So we'll see. She'll show it.
Kids, probably pretty strong locks on all the windows. So how, if the police said there's no forced entry, did the killer get in? Well, we've enlisted the help of an expert who knows all too well how suspects make their entry and leave no mark behind. That's coming as well. And then there's something else. You ever seen the video of a stupid criminal, bank robber, who grabs the bag of money and poof, it blows blue powder all over his face and dye that, really hard to get out? When you fire a gun, something similar happens. Something called gunshot residue. We call it GSR in the business. That same poof happens, only you can't see it. It's invisible, but it is sticky, and it is tiny, and it travels. So the GSR story in this murder could end up being a big, big part of the prosecution of Dr. Michael McKee. Let's get started. The marriage was short. The divorce was quick. And at least on paper, it was drama-free. Now, of course, we know the pain that Monique Sabatersky was suffering was immense. That's what she told her family and friends, that her marriage to Dr. McKee was horrendous. After Monique Sabatersky became Monique McKee, she later took on her new husband's name, Monique Tepe. That was her name when she died, murdered right beside her husband of 5 years, Spencer Tepe. And we're learning a lot more about how much she suffered at the hands of Michael McKee during and after their marriage. But even after Dr. McKee was arrested and charged with those murders, the question we could not shake is this: why now?
Sorry about that. I was on mute. The way he hobbled into the court, is similar to how he walked. Is similar to how that man was walking in that video. That's the reason why they're saying that it was probably him as well. He got this stiff left-legged walk that is like, and he hops a little bit. He wobbles a little bit.
Is this? Why now? His marriage to Mo ended officially back in June of 2017. That's more than 8.5 years ago. The couple had separated almost 10 years ago. Look, heartache lingers. I get it. And time doesn't heal all wounds, but scars do fade. Memories fade. And something pops up sometimes to jar them. And that brings me to something very important. Let me tell you. When memories are jarred, we don't all take it the same way.
Here we go.
We all take it a little differently. In June of last year, 8 years to the month after Mo and Michael's divorce was finalized, a mysterious notice appeared on a court docket in Columbus, Ohio. The court had scheduled a hearing for this past September in the matter of the McKee-Sabatursky divorce, which again was over and done with almost a decade earlier. What did Monique and Michael know about this hearing? For one thing, it was canceled just one day after it was scheduled, and a court spokeswoman tells USA Today the whole thing was just a clerical error. And to be clear, there is no evidence this bizarre blip had anything to do with the murders 3 months after the appearance date, but could it have been enough to reopen an unstable ex-husband's old wounds?
Okay, so the appearance date, even though the copy was the file was the original copy of the hearing notice was filed on the 17th. It was the appearance date that was supposed to be in September, and 3 months after that is where the 3 months come into play, where the unfortunate murder of Spencer and Monique Tepe occurred. Okay. Now, the next day, on the 18th of 2025 in June, they struck the scheduled date. The next day, it was stricken, and they saying it was a clerical error.
First guest has some insights on all of this. Tarlika Nunes Navarro is a former prosecutor, defense attorney, and family court judge, and she's now the dean of the St. Thomas University College of Law. Judge, thanks so much for coming on tonight, and I'm going to apologize to you as well for this. I call it the Brenda Vaccaro voice, but that doesn't do Brenda Vaccaro any justice. Mine's just kind of like you should be in bed voice. But let's talk mechanics first, because not everybody knows how court dockets and clerks, work. How does a divorce that is closed for almost 9 years end up on a docket for a hearing this past September?
Well, Ashley, I told you on Monday, the best is yet to come. We don't know what's happening. It's developing every day. And I told you that more would be happening. And you can see here, this is crazy. 9 years after their divorce, we're seeing court filings and no one can tell us why, a clerical error. So I went through the docket and I researched a little bit. And if you pull up the cases, it actually has their name on it. So what I thought was my first impression was perhaps a clerical error on a numerical, maybe they put like a 7 instead of a 9, but they had their name on it, which means that these notices were most likely sent to Michael and Mo. So it was either that, or it was either Michael went in and tried to reopen this case. Now I can tell you why that probably didn't happen. If that happened, we would have seen something in the docket showing some type of a motion moving to reopen or a motion to enforce the judgment. So the fact that the clerk's office says it was a clerical error, we have to take them for their word. But what a nightmare, and especially on this case, and bad timing.
Well, you just answered my second question was, could Dr. Michael McKee have prompted this? We've been hearing that he didn't want out of that divorce. I just can't imagine why, 8.5 years later, he'd be making any hay. But what's really concerning is the notifications. A lot of us have found out that Dr. McKee actually moved. I mean, he'd been in Nevada. He was, I think, in June of last year, he took on a new job in Chicago, in Rockford, near Chicago, and moved there as well. Do courts chase people down and find their addresses, or do they just go to the lawyers that were last, with these parties?
Well, typically the attorney on file wouldn't be notified, but if you look at the docket, you can see that they were pro se. And so notices would go out to their last known address that was used with the clerk's system. So it depends on the jurisdiction and it depends how automated their system is. And also we have to consider, like in here at the state of Florida, we send notices to emails. Now, I do not see their email on file, so that might not have happened, but in other cases that certainly would happen. So it just depends on the jurisdiction.
Are there safeguards in place for this kind of thing? Like, I get it. We all make mistakes when we type numbers, but these are massive issues. I mean, I don't have to tell you, your family court experience is enough to say how ugly and frightening and dangerous any kind of notice from a family court can be.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you put this behind you. It happened 9 years ago. Imagine Mo when she received notice of this, if she received notice of this, and what if he received notice and he started looking her up? I mean, that's entirely plausible. In June, these notices were sent out. By the end of June, he could have started researching her, and then he would have seen the videos of her wedding, and it could have triggered something. And he, like you say, it could have just snapped. So yes, there are safeguards in place, but sometimes it's too late. In my experience, you know, when I was a judge, I had a judicial assistant who would get the incoming notices, and they would check the court files, and they would make sure that the numbers line up. And if there's an error, then they would notify the clerk. But sometimes the clerk's automated systems already sent out the notice. So yes, there are safeguards, but there are also human errors. And it's entirely plausible that a notice of hearing went out and that perhaps it got to one of these parties.
When I worked at Court TV, I had a partner named Jack Ford, and he's a professor at Yale. He's a longtime prosecutor defense attorney. And one of the things he told me, Judge, was that he would rather sit beside murderers than sit in family court cases with those parties, because it is the most acrimonious kind of litigation that's in court today. And for that reason, I ask you this: what do you think the potential is for a trigger just to get a notice? You're up for a hearing with your ex.
Highly likely. He would have seen her last maiden name right on that notice. He would have probably Googled her. He would have then pulled up her social media. He would have seen the marriage video that we are all seeing, where she's talking about crying those tears of waterfalls and how lucky she was to find him. I mean, all of this could have provoked him. We never know what makes a murderer snap. We study them, but every human is different, and this is absolutely plausible that this could have created his snap.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I never forgot those words from Jack Ford, and I have seen them over and over again in my very long career in true crime. Judge, thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate this.
Thank you, Ashley, and feel better. And congratulations on your show.
I appreciate it.
I'll see you
Thank
soon.
you, Judge Turley Canunas Navarro. You betcha. I'm going to be calling you for the podcast for sure.
All right. So, some of this we saw. We're going to get into. Man, this is crazy, yo. This is so crazy. They just kind of reiterating this whole thing. But I want to get into this piece of the video right here, where they talk about they're talking and things of that nature about the divorce and all that kind of stuff in the case, and then the video of my man walking.
You know, boiling within him for a long time.
Nah, I just want you all to pay attention to this walk, all right, and see, because when he walked into the courtroom, he had the little hobble. Let's see if we can find that little hobble, because that's a very distinctive walk that he had when he came into the court. Okay, let's see if we can see something like that right now.
I mean, we know he was practicing out in Nevada for a time, and then he comes to the Chicago area. You know, he's working in Rockford. And so was it because he was so much closer to home? Was that a part of this? That makes me wonder. Was this a piece of that puzzle? And was he maybe, will we find out through electronics? I don't know this, but will we find out through his electronic devices that he was maybe...
All right, now, this video is kind of sped up a bit, but there's a slight little hobble, but I think it's just like a normal walk at this point. But my man was hobbling like crazy when he came into the court, though, which is going to be, this is going to be brought up in the trial. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it will be. Okay, so you got the suspect's vehicle found and couple murder here in Columbus, right? So he drove from here all the way here to commit this crime,
trying to monitor her. Maybe this is just, he simply just could not let go of her because he didn't want the divorce. You know, I think I told you that the other night, that he did not want this marriage to end. She is the one that wanted it to.
Okay, here we go. We got three different, this is the fastest route. Okay. Hey, why they march the fastest route like this? This is crazy. All right, this is the fastest route. And this would be the longest route. Okay, I got it. All right, so he came through Indy, and he has to, and then he went to Columbus here. So a 5-hour drive from Rockford to Columbus or Wayland Park. And wow, this is just crazy. Now we're going to talk about the fact that of how he got into the home. Okay. Question says, when he walked into the courtroom, he was shackled at the ankles, right? Yes, he was shackled at his wrists, and it was around his waist. Not his ankles. Not his ankles, but it was around his waist though. But however, he has the way he walked in looks like he has a stiff left leg. And some people, and it could be club foot, anything, because I'm telling you, and I'm saying this for a reason, because I was watching a Damon Wayans interview that he had with not just Shannon Sharp, but he had it with someone way before that. And it was with a woman. He was talking about how he had a club foot ever since he was a kid. And that's why he has like one foot is like smaller than the other or something like that. And he walks a certain way in his pain. And he said it's like having a toothache in your foot every day. You know, if you ever had a toothache, it's like having a toothache in your foot every day, which I thought was a very like brilliant way of describing the pain of it. You know what I'm saying? So to get us to understand what it's like. And so it seems like he has that same thing when he walked into this court, because the hobble is so noticeable. I mean, you can literally notice it for sure. But the fact that he was shackled and constrained, it could have increased some of that. Yeah, you know, and plus we don't know, he was in jail, so we don't know if he takes medicine for it and he was in pain that day. We really don't know. But I just find it very interesting that the kind of walk he has, very distinctive. And if they have a camera with someone walking and it has similar distinctions, I find that very interesting. But again, we still need solid evidence and solid proof. You can't see the man's face. No one's face is being shown. You know what I'm saying? Jersey Shakisha said, I know you are being serious, but I wasn't expecting the club foot reference, but I did hear that interview. Was it on Michelle Obama's podcast? No. I'm not sure if it was, but the podcast that it was an actual news interview. It wasn't a podcast. It was an actual news interview. I want to say it was I think it was CBS, because this is at the time where the Papa's House comedy show with his son was like popping. They had one good successful season. They got canceled, but they had one good successful season. And I think around in the middle of the season, that's when they started interviewing him. Like, you know, you are basically, your career is just coming back again over and over. It's like you're always doing your thing. So it was one of those interviews. And then that's when he talked about his comedy and why it's dark. And he always talked about himself comedically because he had a club foot. And he referenced that as the reason why, you know, he has the dark comedy that he has. And he described it as a toothache in your foot, you know, which was, I think is a very interesting choice of words to get us to understand how painful it is. To this day, he still has pain in that foot, you know. And so when he was walking, it made me think of that, you know, it made me go back to that. All right. How did the killer get in the house? Let's go.
How to get through the front door or the back door or any door or window. We don't know how he got into the house. You've heard this a dozen times now. There were no signs of forced entry when the police arrived on the morning of December 30th. And when friends came to check the Tepes an hour or so before that, the doors were apparently locked. Now, those friends also managed to get in somehow. And by the way, that has not been explained either. We believe the house had a security system. There's a security company sign on the lawn. There's a keypad at the front door, and there's a doorbell cam as well. And we know the Tepes had a dog, a golden doodle. But there are no reports of unusual barking at 3 or 4 in the morning, as there were in the Ohio murders. So where does that leave us? It leaves me in the dark, but luckily I'm joined now by an expert in locked door mysteries. Retired Columbus homicide detective Dana Farbacher is with me now. Dana, thank you so much for being here. You're absolutely perfect to help me. And I know a lot of my audience has been feeling this. We're mystified. How on earth police can see no forced entry and this horrible double homicide upstairs in the master bedroom? What are your theories?
There's a couple of different possibilities. I have to believe with modern technology, it may be possible that he could have circumvented any sort of an alarm system. That's one way. Could he have found an open window or open door that he entered and locked behind him? It's a multitude of things. I would hope that if he had just knocked at the door, that no one would have let him in at that time of evening. But you don't know for sure. We don't know exactly how he gained entry.
Well, let me pull the thread on the security system and the keypad at the front door. How hackable are those keypads, or how bad are we at setting our codes using birthdays and social security numbers and all the things that an ex-husband might know?
Yeah, those are all strong possibilities. We're creatures of habit, and we like to use numbers we're comfortable with to make it easier to remember. So is it possible? Could he have gotten there and just tried a couple of different numbers to see, did they use a birthday? Did they use, a social security number, whatever, to do that? And that's also a possibility. It's hard to know at this point, and hopefully that's information that will come out as the investigation goes on.
So Dana, you mentioned the unlocked windows, and I do want to ask you about that, because to the untrained eye, we wouldn't know if somebody got in through an unlocked window and closed it again. But police officers have all sorts of things that they look for underneath those windows and in the garden, et cetera. Walk me through what some of those things are that would tell them if someone got in through a window.
If an officer's checking the perimeter of the home, hopefully they're looking for signs, not just is the window open, but is the landscaping disturbed in some way? Are there footprints in the mulch or mud? Are there plants planted around the base of the home where you've got a bunch of broken branches now, where it looks like somebody had to climb through an area to get in there? So there are indications you can find of, was someone tampering with the window, or was someone in the mulch, in the landscaping, trying to possibly gain entry?
Yeah, I keep talking about the footprints that a killer may have left anywhere around that house that would be manna from heaven for a prosecutor.
Or is it possible that he was already there before they were there, and he waited and waited and waited until they walked into the home for some reason, and then he walked right behind them and just came right on in? It could have been that. It could have been that. However, there is no evidence of any of this stuff. So a lot of this is speculation. It could have been a whole bunch of possibilities. Like, it is what it is. But the fact of the matter is that if there's a Ring camera, if there's a security system, there is all these things that are around the house. There's a dog. There's children. There because the children cry under intense circumstances like that, right? Like, come on now, like, to have this type of thing to occur with no type of suspicious nature to it, as far as the entry of the home, that is the biggest piece that we need to figure out. How did he get inside of the house? How? You already went there one time. You saw absolutely nothing suspicious on when you went to the wellness check. You saw nothing suspicious. You did not stay. People hearing children, they getting in, they able to get in, like all this kind of stuff, and they found out that this double murder occurred. So I don't understand how what speculation you can give that would make sense to this without seeing their security system first. Now, I do think that they do have some type of camera footage. I think they released something to us just to say that they're into this case, because that video of the man walking in the alley, it does nothing. That could be anybody. All right, that could be anybody. But again, the getting into the home without leaving any suspicious activity is like, dude, that's like movie type level, professional type level stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that is that type of level to me. Is to be able to get into a home that's fully secure on a Ring camera and the back camera, fully secured, and you're able to get in, not leave a trace, not leave any fingerprints. We haven't heard anything about fingerprints yet. All we heard about is ballistics. from the Nabin report. We heard about the ballistics, but we didn't hear anything about fingerprints. But I'm not even sure if we heard anything about boot prints or shoe prints in the home, if he stepped in any kind of blood or anything. But we do know one thing. We do know that those kids were in the home unharmed. We do know that there's a 911 call stating that someone can hear children in the home. So I'm telling you, this is like, and he did have a silencer. So that leaves room for understanding how no one could hear anything because he had a suppressor. So no one could really hear anything. So that's the reason why there was never a 911 call about I heard a gunshot next door. We haven't had that call. So this is the thing. They were sleeping though, right? I know, right? They were sleeping. However, I'm trying to figure out how the activity was inside the home. Did they scuffle? I mean, did Spencer scuffle with old Mikey? What? There wasn't no screams from Monique about him being in there. Or did he say, "Y'all be quiet, otherwise this, that," or did he just come in, do his business, and leave? We don't. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, because even I mean, even if there's some type of scuffle, and a lot of times a parent will go towards their kid to make sure they're safe. You know what I'm saying? So it all depends to me a little bit on that, right? But let's finish it out. I'm not sure if they had a triple panel window. I'm not sure what type of windows they had, but I mean they were secured windows though. They were secured windows. Right, that's what I was referencing, Jaquisha. I was referencing the kids being asleep and how hearing if the kids heard a scuffle of any sort, or if Monique tried to go to her kids or Spencer tried to go to the kids to make sure they were safe or something like that, or I just don't know how the interaction was between allegedly Michael McKee and them, and how the kids, because the kids could have just woke up like, "Yo, what is our parents?" And then having that reaction. And then that's why the neighbors were able to hear kids. But I'm just talking about during that time period, how did Michael McKee gain control of the situation? No scuffle, no anything. You know what I mean? Like nothing of that nature. So I'm just curious myself. Again, we're all speculating here, but to not have any evidence of entry is kind of, it's a little bit on the baffling side to me.
For police, but could have been disturbed by all of those friends that came later when the police went to the wrong place and friends instead responded. So a lot of those footprints might be compromised. You just touched very briefly on the fact that he might have just been let in. I want to ask you about that because I'm trying to go over scenarios in my head at 2:00 in the morning where you hear banging on a door, you run downstairs, you're half asleep, you see your ex, and maybe he's screaming, help me, I'm in trouble, Monique. Is that possible? Is that something that police might entertain, or is that sort of really far-fetched?
I think that situation will be really far-fetched. If you go to a door and knock on it and you turn your back to the door so they cannot see you, you have a hood up on a jacket, I would still hope that they would call the police and not open the door to anyone at that time of the morning. Especially, I would hope that she had shared the information with her new husband about all the issues she had with Mr. McKee here, so that he knew how potentially dangerous he would be, that they would not let him in. But the only one that can answer that question for us all is Mr. McKee, if he's going to share that information with us.
This is a bit of a non sequitur, but I want to ask it because it's been sort of gnawing at me. The police have been using very specific language when it comes to the vehicle that they traced in the vicinity of the home before and after the murders and then traced back to Dr. McKee. They didn't say it was his car. They said he was in possession of the car. And that made me wonder, would it be a rental? And they debunked that. They said it's not a rental. But do police usually use the words in possession of a car when it's the suspect's car? Or could this be something like a car he borrowed from a friend, borrowed from work, or maybe even stole allegedly?
I think those are all possibilities. It's a car he had access to. You know, this is a very emotional crime, and he may have committed it for an emotional reason, but that doesn't mean he didn't think through what he was going to do. And instead of driving a vehicle of his own, maybe registered to him, he borrowed one from a friend. Could he have stolen it? Absolutely. Could he have paid somebody just to use their car? That's a possibility. The detectives are going to have to do a lot of follow-up and figure exactly how it was that he gained access to this vehicle to drive back and forth.
I just thought that language was odd. He was in possession.
That is odd. That is odd. In possession of a vehicle. And again, the way the police presents this, it's like it's his car. Then come to find out there's other things, there's other pieces to this, right? This is something, man. All right, we're going to get into some quote unquote breaking, or maybe I would say a little bit more detailed news here about this case as well that developed. So Unmasked True Crime is on X, and the link is in the description if you want to follow them on X. But I found this to be interesting as well. We're going to deep dive a little bit into this article as well. But I wanted to get into this particular post. Now, Unmasked True Crime is actually a credible. Is it called channel on X? What is it called? Account? Credible account, credible source. When it comes to certain details of things, there's only certain ones like Matt Black Inc. Is someone that I follow on X. They are very accurate with their information. They're able to provide documents and things of that nature. They're really into it. You know, I'm not sure if they're a professional journalist or just an enthusiast or connoisseur of sort, but I want to read this here because it's breaking news about the new court docs that shows the accused murderer, Michael McKee, had been stalking Monique Tepe and had entered the Tepe's home 3 weeks prior to their murders. Did you hear what I just said? New court docs show that accused murderer Michael McKee had been stalking Monique Tepe and had entered the Tepe's home 3 weeks prior to their murders. The affidavit reads that McKee went to the Tepe's home while the couple was in Indiana at a Big Ten game, December the 6th, 2025. I live in Indianapolis. I mean, I live in Indianapolis. Indiana faced Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. Okay. And while they were at the game, he is in Ohio at their home, is basically what they're saying, according to the affidavit. I need to get the affidavit. If somebody, anybody, everybody scream. No, if somebody can help me with this, if you have a way to find the affidavit, I'm going to continue to do my research and find the affidavit. I'm going to find it. I know I am. I'm like that. I'm IT. And information is the first thing they teach you in school is how to get information. I'm going to find it. The affidavit reads that McKee went to the Tempe's home while the couple was in Indiana at the Big Ten game on December the 6th, 2025. The Big Ten, again, here in Indianapolis, here in Indiana, period, that was the biggest game here, right? And Ohio State won convincingly, allegedly McKee is seen. Here we go. He's seen on camera entering the couple's home on North 4th Street and then leaving a couple of hours later. He's seen on camera entering the home, then leaving a couple of hours later. It also confirms rumors that McKee left his cell phone at the hospital as an alibi during the murders for a 17-hour span from December 29th to December 30th. Okay, let's read this some more. Wait. They're in Ohio, they're in Indiana, this December the 6th. They're in Indiana, the Big Ten game. He's seen on camera entering their home, and then he leaves a couple of hours later on December the 6th. It also confirms rumors that McKee left his cell phone at the hospital as an alibi during the murders for a 17-hour span from December 29th to the 30th. The affidavit also gives new horrifying details provided by Monique's friends and family about the nature of McKee's threats during their brief marriage and seemingly after the divorce. Allegedly, McKee SA'd Monique and strangled her and threatened to unalive her. He also told her that he could always buy the house right next to her and that she could always be his wife. She would always be his wife. On December the 6th, when the Tepes were in Indiana and McKee was seen at their property, Monique became upset and left the second half of the game, returning to their hotel. Spencer told friends that she left the game because of something going on with McKee. This new information obviously leads to so many more questions. Was McKee actively harassing Spencer and Monique leading up to the murders? This case continues to get darker and darker. Okay, yes, this is what I wanted to bring to our attention. This is all today. All right, this is all today. Okay. All right, let's get into this here. So I want to get into this article, if it lets me, from today. All right, here we go. Let me get out the way for you guys. All right, this is the best I can do here on this one. Best I can do here on this one. All right, it says court docs reveal new details in Tepe murder case. McKee allegedly spotted outside home weeks before killings. Court docs allege that Michael McKee, the ex-husband charged in the deaths of the Tepe couple, was spotted outside their property weeks before their deaths. This is, again, updated at 12:25 p.m. today. So this was reported earlier today in the afternoon. Court docs obtained. It was obtained by 10 TV's Lacey Crisp. Alleged that Michael McKee, ex-husband, charged in the homicide of the Tepe murder, was spotted at their property weeks before their deaths. Spencer and Monique Tepe were found unalived in their Wayland Park house on December 30th after the Columbus Division of Police performed a well-being check. McKee, who court documents say was Monique's ex-husband, was identified as the suspect in their deaths and was indicted on 4 counts of aggravated murder and 1 count of aggravated burglary. We read the indictment already. And he pleaded not guilty to the charges. I'm trying to figure out, what is this man? He's not thinking. I'm not trying to figure out what he's thinking. I know he's not thinking. He can't be. You are on camera. Now we need to see this. Now we need to see the camera footage. For some reason, I'm feeling a Mickey Steins type of unveiling going on. It's like it's going to be slowly but surely. We're going to start seeing more deeper dives on video footage, more deeper dives on Ring cameras. I'm just getting the vibes. Okay, I'm getting the vibe. The affidavit states that Monica Spencer was at the Big Ten championship game in Indiana. Now that makes sense. They're from Ohio. That makes sense. See, we was trying to figure out why would you drive 5 hours and some odd minutes to do this? But he had been prepping this for a minute. Again, remember what we talked about earlier. The clerical error happened in June of 2025. The clerical error where they sent out a notice of a scheduled hearing from their divorce. Now, the divorce was finalized June 18th, 2017 by the judge. The judge entered this divorce declared. All right. June 18th, 2025, or 17th of 2025, one of those dates, there's a original copy of the notice of scheduled hearing between Monique Tepe and Michael McKee about their divorce. The next day, which is the 19th, so it was on the 18th, the June 19th, the next day, it says the schedule was struck. The schedule was stricken, okay, from the record, stricken the next day. Now, depending on what time that scheduled hearing was submitted, notices probably, most likely, perhapsly went out. And we talk about physical notices with people's names and information on it, okay, went out to at least one of them. The hearing was scheduled for September. The murder occurs December 29th, 30th-ish time frame. December 6th is the Big Ten championship game. I was upset Michigan wasn't there. Sharon Moore and all that kind of craziness going on. That's another situation that I just don't have time to cover. But anyway, during the Big Ten, this is the perfect time for him to go to their house. Now, I have a question. How did he know they were at the Big Ten game? How did he know they were going to Indiana? What? You went straight to their house on a day that you knew they wouldn't be there. How did you know they were not going to be there? Who have you been talking to? Who have you been talking to get that type of information? Who do you know that they know that still talk to you? No, who do you know that she know that still talk to you? Information don't just come out of thin air. Social media, I'm okay. Why isn't he blocked on social media then? We're talking about 8-year gap of a divorce. If when you can block, you can secure your family. Who in her family still talk to Michael McKee? Obviously, he got this information third hand somehow. I don't know about the social media thing because he's a control freak, a control person. Meanwhile, we don't have any police reports about any incidents of him being controlling or abusive. But we do know that is the reputation of him. So we'll go with the majority on this for now. Family. They ain't got no kids together. They've been divorced 8 years. Who in her family or his family still talk to anybody to each other's family? I had this conversation not too long ago about people who are cool with you do to somebody else. And it do be your own. You're right about that, Chill. It be your own family sometimes. Okay, we need to figure out who this family member is so we can initiate them in a new gang called Mind Your Business Gang. Okay, we need a Mind Your Business Gang, and we need to initiate all the people that talk too much. If I go with you, we break up, that means I break up with everybody attached to you because I only know them through you. Because then, like you just said, Chill, it be your own family sometimes. Then that eliminates any type of mentioning of people's business. It eliminates any updates you try to do that you try to give somebody else in their life. Why you need updates on me? Why you checking for me? What do you want? Don't check for me. We're done. We done. The whole squad is done. Okay. I got some really good friends. Any young lady that I dealt with, my close friends, they don't talk to them. I don't talk to my close friends, girls, like they are even though I call them sis and everything. I don't have private conversations with my homies, girls and ladies and or fiancés or whatever. I don't. I got some real good friends. They and a few of them, they married to some good women. And I know a good friend of mine, they are together. They've been knowing each other for years. Okay. She can never say I ever had a private conversation with her. I've never had a private conversation with her. You see what I'm saying? There is a respect. There is a respect that goes with someone getting together, and there's a respect when someone breaks up. And I respect both. So if my homeboy break up with his girl and move out and do his own thing, do something else, then I'm still his friend and I'm still cool with her, but we're not talking. She can't call me and be like, how my homie Jay doing? No, she can't do that. She won't do that. She won't do that. That's how cool we are. We all know this. And it ain't no ill will, bad blood. It eliminates any type of drama. See, we need to be proactively eliminating drama. And we don't do that. How did he know they was at the game? How? I don't care. Either way, if it's social media, if it's family, if it's an old friend, if it's an inner circle, why are you talking? This is the problem. Stop telling your own business. Then you get mad when people be in your business that you told. You posted your business on social media. You posted yourself at the gym, and then you wonder why your ex-man keep following you at the gym. You keep telling him where you at every day. You ain't blocked him on your social media. You ain't blocked him in your phone. You playing. You're not taking your life seriously. Because it's guys like him, allegedly like him, like him, who will snap at any type of success that you personally having and they're personally not having. People are crazy. There is a level of crazy that you don't know that's in a person until you absolutely get involved with them. Then you're like, you know what? I can, and then the red flag comes early. Be like, you know what? I can't do this. This I can't do. This right here. So if I know he is abusive and crazy and all that kind of stuff, and if somebody know him, be like, man, he's the greatest guy ever. You know what? I can't talk to that person because that person don't really know who he is, or they just skip past it. They don't tell him the truth. I don't care how he found out. He should have never found out that they was at the Indiana game. Who told? Who told, man? This is unbelievable. When I saw this, I was like, wait a minute. When I saw this update today, I'm like, hold on. They had the Big Ten game, and he was there while they were there. He was at their house while he was at their house while they were at the Big Ten championship. How did he know? My first question was, how did he know they were there? He's the big bad wolf. He's abusive. He was always verbally abusive against Monique, right? Okay, so why and how did he get any information about her outside of possibly this clerical error that took place? Okay, he probably got some logistic information. Her new maiden name, her new married name is Tepe. Her new all this kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? So he could have possibly, and who's to say that this man is automatically tech savvy? He may not be. Just because you're a dentist don't mean you tech savvy at the same time. Trust me. I used to be an IT site lead for LabCorp Blood Lab right around here in Indianapolis. It's the largest blood lab in the country, human blood lab in the country for LabCorp. This is their largest human blood lab that LabCorp has. I was the IT site lead there for 2 years. Okay. Actually, more than that, like 3 years. Yeah, it was 3 years. I'm talking doctors. I'm talking professionals. They don't have a clue about anything technology. Let me tell you something. I'm talking about from the CEO of LabCorp. He worked right upstairs above us. His office was right upstairs. The COO, the office was right upstairs. I could literally go up the steps or elevator if people was blocking the steps, or if I had to take some equipment upstairs, I could go up the elevator and I could just go right to their office. It's a long hall and it's just all their offices. You will be surprised that some of your smartest people that have all of the knowledge about your human body and about your brain, they don't know how to click on file and save. Okay. So the notion that because he got money and he's smart, that don't mean he did all this. If he's not an IT professional, he is a dentist. He's a dentist. Okay. That don't mean he know anything about technology. I'm not giving this man the one up because he's a dentist and he's smart in dentistry, in the dentist industry and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying that I'm going to give him credit for being a tech savvy dude now. He probably went on this. He probably did it. Who knows? Who knows if he's that smart? I'm not going to just give a man a nod on being a genius. I don't think it's just him. He had to get some information somewhere, somehow, that sparked an excitement or an incitement to do this, to do it this way, to look up their stuff and do all this kind of stuff and figure out the GPS and blah, 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 blah. Look, who's to say, again, he can go on YouTube, how to find a person through a phone number. They have YouTube videos for this. They have all kind of stuff for this. Okay. Like it's insane. The lengths you would go through, it's insane, bro. Okay, so that's a good question. How did he know they was at the Big Ten game? Monique went back to the hotel during the second half of the game because, according to the affidavit, according to what we read in the post, it has something to do with McKee. It has something to do with McKee. Wait, hold on. Let me see. Went back. Okay, Monique went back to her hotel during the second half of the game. According to the affidavit, McKee was seen on video entering Tepe's property on December 6, 2025, and leaving a few hours later when the couple was away. He was in there chilling. Michael McKee is a dentist as well, a doctor. He's Dr. McKee. He's Dr. Michael McKee. Look, could have been doing anything, setting up listening devices, could have been doing anything. He was there for a few hours. He could have been doing anything. Nothing is private these days. So, and then not only that, because nothing has been private for a long time. But what's happening is we are now drifting away from privacy altogether as a society. Like as a human society, we are getting away from just having our own private moments in our lives. Like the gym, like a restaurant, like going to the library to get a book. Everything has to be videotaped and shared. Okay, I'm sorry, a vascular surgeon. Doctor, vascular surgeon. Got you. That's right. I appreciate it. Thank you for the correction. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. So this vascular surgeon still is not tech savvy enough, probably, to do what he did. I just believe he had help. I believe he got help from a YouTube channel, a help from looking up stuff, some type of help. He had enough time. Remember the clerical era. He had enough time, and the clerical era could have possibly given him enough information to look up stuff and all that kind of stuff. He's like, man, I can't find her online. I can't find her here. I can't find her there. Yeah, but her name is Monique Tepe now. That's why you can find her. Oh, I found her now. Like you said, social media for sure. I found her now. Let me see what else I can find. So he's lurking. If you see a post, oh my God, I hope they didn't post something like, I hope they did not post that they were going to be in the game at the game. Oh, that would just break my heart, man. Dang, that would hurt my heart for real. You never know who lurking on you, man. That's why check your settings on your social media. Check your settings on your social media, especially Facebook, because Facebook, just check your settings on Facebook. Check your YouTube settings, check your Google account settings. Make sure your stuff is secure. I'm telling you. Make sure your stuff is secure and private. Because this is ridiculous, man. He probably found her out. Like, yeah, her last name is Tepe. Let me see. Let me go on her account. And pending on how her account was secured, he could have seen anything on there. The affidavit states that McKee's phone was left at his job in Rockford, Illinois, approximately 17 hours from December 29th until noon, December 30th. That's his alibi, of course. Friends and family told detectives that that Monique shared that McKee was abusive and threatened her during and after their marriage, according to the affidavit. I wish, man, some type of restraining order, something. If she had enough evidence to be like, yo, this man is harassing me. We have been divorced for this period of time. He is on my social media. He is doing this, doing that, like something. I wish that would happen. Because, man, this guy's, allegedly, this guy, the alleged murderer. Thank you, Tracy. Tracy, the alleged, exactly. The affidavit states that McKee told Monique that he could unalive her at any time and would find her and buy the house next door. He always gonna be my wife. The what we just read, basically. She was when asked why Monique left the game, Spencer said she was upset about something involving her ex-husband and was going back to the hotel. According to that affidavit, she couldn't even enjoy the game. The new details come a week after McKee was arraigned last week. No bond was issued. If convicted, McKee faces a minimum of life in prison with parole eligibility after 32 years. McKee was first arrested on January 10th in Illinois. He is currently booked in James A. Carnes Correction Center in Franklin County. Okay. All right. So let's go into man, this is so messed up, man. What do y'all think of so far with this? If anybody have any other details like Tracy gave about just any details that you think, or what do you think? How do you think he got to know their information outside? And I'm not just talking about social media. Outside of the fact that of social media, but how do you think he was able to find out their information? Just period. Now that we understand this clerical error took place, the clerical error took place where there were copies of a scheduled hearing for September. Now that we understand that took place, and now that we understand that he was at their home 3 weeks prior to the killing or the murder, December 6th, they were at the Big Ten. He obviously knew. He was able to get there 3 weeks prior. And let me tell you something about this. Now, let's say he is like super tech savvy as well as a vascular surgeon. This piece right here makes sense to me. This makes sense to me. You in the house for 2 to 3 hours tops, and you are doing what for all 2, 3 of those hours? And then check this out, right? Check this out. When they got back home, I'm trying to figure out, somebody let me know, please. Was there ever like a report or a phone call about somebody saying, hey, it seemed like somebody was in our home while we were gone? Or did you got a Ring camera though, right? Don't the Ring camera had an app to come with it so you can see it wherever you at, where like you mobile, right? So when you get the app, then you are able to see video footage of what goes on at your house. You would check it like, yo, okay, everything's straight, everything cool, right? Man, I just don't know. Like, did she see that upset her, and then she like, okay, we need to get back ASAP or something like that? Did she? Because nowhere it doesn't say, or I have not seen any reports that says that Monique Tepe called the police and said, my ex-husband came to my home without my permission, and his name is Michael McKee, and that we don't have any information about that at all. Chukija said he was married to her before. He can access anything. He knows social security number, date of birth. That's all you need. My chart is nationwide. Yeah, but that's no, wait. He might have all that, and that's cool, but my chart is very, very secure. You need more than just that information. First of all, yeah, there's a whole setup that I have my chart. There's a whole setup that take place where you have certain people on there that's for like contact, emergency contact, all that kind of stuff. And they can't give out any information without you being a part of that type of information. he has to if he accesses a My Chart. I mean, you have to set up your account, log in. You can also use your face recognition for your My Chart account now. You know what I'm saying? Come on, he is a doctor. That's true. That's true. Chiquita said, "I wish this was a call-in show." I'm trying to make it a call-in show. I be dropping the link for y'all to come on up. Y'all don't never click it. y'all don't want to get cammed up. I know that he has access to records. I mean, does he? Does he? I mean, does he have access to her medical records? I mean, we really don't know that. I think we're giving doctors too much credit here. I think we give doctors way too much credit here. There's certain things that there's certain steps that have to be taken for a doctor to access somebody's records, though. You know, I mean, he could do some unethical stuff for sure. He could definitely do some unethical stuff, yeah. But there's more than just like going into because first of all, she has to be within his network anyway. The in-network and out-of-network thing is a thing too. So we don't even know what network she's in for him to even access that. Anything outside of the network of that, you know what I'm saying, is like, man, that is a lot to that's a lot to put on you, man. We don't know. He allegedly murdered 2 people, Jakeisha. We can't say he did it. We don't know yet. He pled not guilty. You want to come up, Jakeisha, and put me on? Here, I'll share the link with you. You got to be cammed up, though. You got to be cammed up, though. Or at least let me see. At least show your face. And oh, you're not dressed. Never mind. All right. All I'm saying is, as a for him to get a lot of that information unethically, that would be a cold move, man. That would be a cold move. That would be a cold move because I don't know many doctors who can just grab information outside of their own network of doctors, outside of their own network of where what they're in. Like, somebody help me out with that. Like, how are doctors able to get records unethically, or records even though a person may not be in the network of that doctor? Because the way insurances go, they charge you an in-network copay and an out-of-network copay, right? If you know, depending on what you're trying to get. And I'm trying to figure out how they're able to go into both, or is this just, it doesn't matter, just the medical record, period? Like, you know what I'm saying? Of course, he can access the records of patients that he has, you know, and he should only access that stuff. But yeah, that's a good point, though. That's a good point. He is a doctor. He does have access. He does have. He is a doctor. He has access to get records. He does understand how that goes. You know, he understands. He has the access to do that kind of stuff, which is very, very true. What up, though, Cat? Shout out to Cat Not Williams in the building. Saying, hey, I had company over unexpectedly. No problem. It's all good. I'm just curious as to how he was able to find out that they were specifically at the Big Ten game on December the 6th. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, because outside of the medical piece, just your own daily information itself, just the daily information itself. Oh, we got Keisha in the building. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me. Okay. What up, though?
I need to wait. I need to pause, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear it? Can you hear me?
Oh, is there an echo?
No, there's no echo. I don't hear one. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
I think there's an echo. Okay, I hear you. I hear you double. Yeah, I can see you.
Okay. What up, though?
All right. So what I'm trying to say is, right,
Okay.
my chart for doctors, nurses, any medical professionals, they can access my chart. You don't have to be in a specific network. Hold on. I think it's a
Are you watching me on your TV too or something like that?
all right. No, I had you on the other screen. All right. Now I can hear. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
hey.
Hey.
So, all right. So for medical professionals, for my chart is nationwide, right? So in order to access it, all you have to do is put in your credentials, right? It has nothing to do with in network or out of network, because you could be out of state and have a medical emergency, and doctors and nurses can pull up your my chart history. That's why it was been implemented nationwide, right? So this guy, quote unquote, I mean,
allegedly,
that's quote unquote allegedly, right? If he went to their home, right, and access their home for like hours, what makes you think that he would not specifically do unethical things to acquire information for the ex-wife? I mean, like, he's crazy, deranged, allegedly.
Allegedly crazy and allegedly deranged.
Yeah,
but I feel you on that because of the fact that it's in the affidavit that he was stalking and harassing her.
Right.
I'm just trying to figure out how does that reflect in any type of other police reports that may have been. I haven't seen any police reports from the Tepes like this guy keeps bothering us.
But maybe they
like you said, you said something about being able to, get to their home. So maybe, are you saying maybe he probably accessed that information from her medical records or something like that,
possibly,
and got her current address and all that kind of stuff?
But also, let me tell you, so you could pay to access individuals' information, right? So all you need is their name, date of birth, a specific region, and you just pay $19.99. If you don't have like delete me to keep your information secure, then I'm just gonna go find out where you live.
Right. Wow.
It's all there. Like, it's all there. All your history, any sort of court records. It literally costs you. You could do a 5-day subscription for free, right? Come on. It's not difficult to find information. So I just think this guy had access to information. And if he is the alleged, you know what, then.
Yeah. So he probably accessed the information, the most important information here, and then all the other stuff, the personal stuff like the game, and if you got kids, he probably accessed that from somewhere else. And so he's just getting it all around.
I mean,
and then it doesn't help that we give our information out too. Right. So we all, sharing ourselves and our location, sharing who we tagging people, all that kind of stuff. That doesn't always help either. So I feel you on that. Dang.
Right.
Well,
I mean, listen, our digital footprint is crazy. Like,
yeah.
So,
I don't know.
It's
kind of wild. That's kind of wild.
This is
That's
a really
wild.
crazy case. I really want to see how it plays out, to be honest.
You think he did it?
Yeah.
You think he did it? I just knew it.
I ain't gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold you for real.
It ain't looking good for the boy, is it?
I ain't
It ain't
gonna
looking
hold
good
you.
for him. It ain't looking good for him.
It's not looking good unless it's some kind of, I don't know. If they didn't do something right on the investigation side or the arrest side, then I can't see. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't
see
see
him. Yeah, I don't see him. It's too much. It's too much that points in his direction.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that we got this mysterious break-in that occurred. But again, even 3 weeks before the murder occurred, December the 6th, Big Ten game, he goes into the home. It's on camera, allegedly on Ring camera. He goes into the home, and then he's there for 2 to 3 hours, and then he comes back, and nothing. There's no police report about a break-in from that day from them. There's no break-in, nothing. There's no, hey, something looks different in the house. Nothing at all.
He's a vascular surgeon. He's probably very meticulous. To be a vascular surgeon, you have to, I mean, you have to be
a very detailed,
very right. I mean, come on.
So we shouldn't underestimate him either.
No, I don't. I wouldn't. I don't underestimate him at all.
Yeah.
I mean, considering his previous behavior, which is documented, right? So we can't take that away. Can't say allegedly. The previous, so he has the tendency.
Yeah. And then on top of that, I mean, he did not want to let the relationship go. He did not want to. He was holding on to dear life for it and everything.
Right.
Knowing him, he was probably looking forward to that scheduled hearing if he got that information. Because remember, that clerical error was crazy.
Right.
You know, that, I mean, that's another way to be like, oh, okay, I can meet you there. And that's that's another thing too. So yeah, that's crazy. I appreciate you coming up though.
Well, he's the definition. If I can't help you, nobody else can.
Yeah, that is clear definition. Like, yes, for sure. Absolutely.
Peace out.
All right, I appreciate you coming up. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Uh-oh. I took myself down, yo. Let's give it up for Trakeisha, man. What? Right? One of the first of many. That was great. That was great information. Yeah, that is a meticulous thing, man. That is true. He's a vascular surgeon. This is like real serious. That's a good observation. That's a good look on that. That he had this type of meticulousness about him. And that it's possible that he probably, now that Trakeisha mentioned it, that it's possible that, he could have went into did some unethical stuff real quick and snatched her current information and things of that nature. And I mean, obviously she had some updated medical history because she had 2 children, so that's definitely, that information was definitely there, so wow, this is very, very interesting. Shout out to Trakeisha once again. I really appreciate you coming up. Very good information. So I learned something today. I was today years old when I learned that you can do, if you a doctor, ain't no more in network, out network. It's all nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. Dang. All right, I wanted to get into, the time is going to be away from us. I wanted to get into the Ohio the podcast, the Drop Dead Serious podcast with Ashley Banfield, where she talks about a few more disturbing things. I think it's similar to what we already discussed though. But she has some more information. She has some more information about the actual 911 calls. Do y'all want to get into that? Y'all want to get into the 911 calls and all that kind of stuff? Then yeah, she and she had like a criminologist come up with her as well, and then they talked a little bit. But 911 calls was revealed, the actual audio of them. Let's go ahead and see what's up with that real quick. Oh man. If you are enjoying this podcast, if you are enjoying the live, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat, man. I really appreciate you, and I really appreciate you all stopping by and seeing your boy, checking us out, man. All right, we're gonna get into this real quick. I'm gonna up the NMC playback speed, turn it up real quick, and we're gonna get into this. All right, Cat Not Williams said yes with the jingle. Nationwide is on your side. Wait, did I see somebody? Cat said we had Trey Biz TV for a second. That's actually kind of cool. Trey Biz TV, right? Shoot, we could go over some cases. Now that we know that a doctor can get you from anywhere. Jeez, this is crazy, man. This is absolutely insane. Let's go ahead and get into this.
The country. You remember the young couple gunned down inside their own home while their children were sleeping just feet away on the second floor? The man that police say crept into the Tepe's home and gunned down these parents is Monique Tepe's ex-husband, Dr. Michael McKee, a vascular surgeon from Chicago. And earlier today, and I'm recording this on Friday, January 22nd, we got our first look inside at that surgeon turned double murder defendant as he was arraigned in Franklin County, Ohio. Into the courtroom, but weirdly, he came in via video. I'll show it to you in a minute. Charged with 5 counts of aggravated murder. I know, 2 victims, 5 counts. Okay, so just quickly, 2 counts of aggravated murder are based on the use of the firearm with a silencer and premeditation. And 2 counts of aggravated murder are based on premeditation, right? So that would be the drive and the silencer and all that. And 2 other counts, those 2 are based on murder in the commission of a burglary. So it's kind of like felony murder in other jurisdictions, but they've got basically an insurance policy. If the jury doesn't agree it was premeditated, well, you can always go to the fact that, there was a burglary. It's kind of obvious. So that's why 4 counts of ag murder, and then there's a burglary charge as well. Dr. Michael McKee's new and extremely competent lawyer, Diane Menashe, is no stranger to high-profile cases. She previously represented William Hustle, the Ohio doctor who was acquitted of 14 counts of murder. So yeah, that is a very good lawyer.
Whoa. I mean, yikes. For acquitted? Wow. Those of you that are on X, shout out to the people on X. Look, check this out. I got to give y'all some love. My bad. I didn't know y'all was rocking with me on X right now. Shout out to all the people on X. Look, check this out. If you want to be a part of the chat, go ahead and hit the YouTube link and come on over to Biz Nation. All right, come on over to the Biz Nation family. We got nothing but love over here. As you can see, it's all love here. It's very comfortable. All right, comfortable yet comfortable, informative, comedically informative, also intentional. This channel is also intentional as well. And so just come on over, subscribe to the channel. And again, if anybody has any type of content they want to share or any type of case they want me to look at or reaction video or any type of videos you want me to react to, go ahead and hit me up on tebiztv@gmail.com. You can email me anonymously. It's fine. And just, let me know what you would like for me to talk about. All right, let's get back into this. 14 acquitted, 14 counts of murder is what his lawyer represented a doctor, someone in Ohio with a record like that. Okay, that's money. You got to pay. You got to pay for that. All right, you got to pay for that,
especially for a vascular surgeon. But today, that defense lawyer didn't have to do a whole lot of heavy lifting. Today was very different. And that's because that court appearance was like fast and clinical, and it was over almost before it began. Take a look.
We're on the record. Make your appearance. Call your first case, please. Good afternoon, Your Honor. Stephen Chop, Dan Letter. Show a favor for the state.
Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me slow it down just a tad bit. that 1.25 done got crazy. Let's go to 115. There we go.
First case before the court, State of Ohio versus Michael McKee. It's 26 CR 253. There are 5 counts. 4 counts of aggravated murder, unclassified felonies, and 1 count of aggravated burglary, felony 1. Each of these counts come with a 3 and a 6-year firearm specification.
Thank you, counsel. Please make your appearance.
Thank you, Your Honor. Diane Benashing on behalf of Michael McKee.
Thank you.
Your Honor, with respect to the allegations, we would acknowledge receipt, waive reading, enter not guilty pleas to all counts contained therein. We would also waive bond at this time, although we certainly reserve the right to raise that at a later date. The plea of not guilty form has been executed and signed on behalf of my client. Nothing further.
Thank you, counsel. I signed the not guilty plea. I'm signing the bond form indicating the bond has been waived. Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Before the police ever stepped in.
Yo, she's super smart. She already know. She not trying to. She about to use this time wisely, man. She about to use this time wisely. Let's go.
Inside that house, there was a phone call that was made. It was a 911 call that was placed by a friend of Spencer Tepe's, a call that alerted dispatch that something was really wrong inside the Tepe's home. We have played you that call before, and it is hard to hear, but it matters. So I want you to hear it again, knowing what we know now, because everything in it will be a clue that I'm about to discuss with a very smart forensic investigator.
Let me get you on the line with the medic, okay? Stay on the line.
You can hear children. Oh man.
Oh my God. What is the address of your emergency? 1411 North 4th. Okay, 1411? Yeah. All right, the house apartment? House. All right, let me guess, what's going on there? There's a body. Our friend wasn't answering his phone. We just did a wellness check. We just came here, and he appears dead. Okay. There's blood. He's laying next to his bed, off of his bed, and there's blood. I can't get closer to see more than that. Okay, you can tell he's not breathing or anything? Yeah, yeah. Is it like, kind of like, you know, does he look like... It doesn't puddle. I can't look. Okay, all right, understand.
Now that phone call is really raw, and it captures something very important. The moment before the investigation actually begins. And it raises a lot of questions that investigators are likely still working to put together and answer. To help us understand what the crime scene may tell investigators moving forward, I talked to somebody who knows how these cases unfold from the inside. Dr. Laura Petler is a forensic criminologist, an expert in domestic violence and staged homicides. So basically, what I wanted to know is what the scene of the crime, the place where this couple met their deaths, what that tells us. Because there is so much that the layperson would never see. They would see a bloody scene and they would be terrified, just like that 911 caller. But to the trained eye, they see a story. They see an entire story playing out. What the killer did, how long the killer took. Did the killer torture these people or even psychologically try to torture these people? Did the killer kill one person and make the other watch and then kill the other? Did those people try to crawl for help and then get a second bullet? I mean, there's so many things that forensic investigators see that you and I may not. But before I play you this conversation, and trust me, you've got to stick around for it and also subscribe. It would do me a big solid if you would subscribe. Thank you. I just want to thank you. If you've already subscribed, if you're a member, thank you so much for supporting this podcast. I couldn't do it without you. I also want to
where you feel safest and have somebody break into your house or come into your house in some other way and murder you in the middle of the night. And I think that just that premise alone has really shaken people, especially maybe in their community. And that's like always, when I think of this case, that's the very first thing I think of.
And we're so defenseless, you know, when we're asleep in our beds, thinking that we're safe in our, you know, our homes. I am so curious about, in the absence of information, what the victims of this crime, what Monique and Spencer Tepe are going to be able to tell us. And that's always the fascination in the forensic aspect of this case. Looking at what we know so far, what do you think investigators are going to be doing with that crime scene, with those bodies, in order to learn what happened in that room?
Okay, so for me, the very first thing, this is what I always teach investigators: start the investigation where the investigation starts. And in this case, it starts with the 911 call made by one of the Tepe's friends. And that call, the caller describes what he is seeing in the room. And that is where they should start, because then they have the first images of what is seen in the pristine condition that the crime scene's in. The second step for me would be to go through the crime scene itself and kind of make a cursory inventory of, okay, I'm going to need to process this. I need to process this. I need this type of equipment. I suspect maybe there might be latent evidence. I might need to do bloodstain evidence. I might need to do shooting reconstruction in the future. So I'm going to make sure that my documentation is so stellar and bring in every big gun and resource that I can possibly bring in to make sure that we have it documented for reconstruction purposes. The third thing I'm going to do is start victimology immediately and have it completed within the first 48 hours, actually, because the more you know about the victims, the more you will understand that crime scene. And then you can move that towards building your suspectology, which is pretty much like the opposite of the victimology, but asking a lot of the same questions, and using the suspectology to understand the dynamics between the victims and the suspect so that you can begin to hypothesize: were the victims lying down at the times of the shots? Were the victims standing? Were they sitting? And so those are all types of research questions we'll ask. And then we ask the same types of questions in reconstruction for the suspect. So we're going to say, was the suspect standing? Was the suspect sitting? Was the suspect standing on his head? Kind of idea. We're going to go through everything, even if it sounds ridiculous, we're still going to do that, because objective science makes sure that you investigate every single possible way you can think of that it could possibly happen.
And apart from being able to glean evidence that can be used to convict a suspect, you are also discovering the story of what happened in that room. And I want you to sort of tell me what the possibilities are at this point. I mean, I have things in my head where if Monique Tepe's ex-husband, Dr. Michael McKee, is guilty of this crime, he is seething for a decade over this divorce. And I can't imagine what a person like that would want to do in those final moments. Would they want to be quick and get out of there? Would they want to make it awful? Would they want to make it last? Would they want one person to see the other one die? Would there be torture? And all of those things you can ascertain.
We can. For me, I'm a forensic criminologist, so I do this a certain way. So we start with victimology, and then we move into crime scene dynamics. Then we move into crime scene characteristics. And then from those three things, we begin to build an offender profile, like not like a criminal profile, like who we're finding, but more like, what are the characteristics of this person? Is this about power and control, or is it about anger? And for me, I think it's about both, and it falls under the category of domestic violence homicide or intimate partner homicide. Even if they're former intimate partners, it would still technically be classified that way. And it's interesting because what is he feeling? What is he thinking? And those are things that we definitely want to explore in forensic criminology, because you're right, there's some kind of trigger. And in this particular type of homicide, there's always a trigger. So like that trigger activates an emotion and it ignites a thought, and then it culminates in a behavior. And in this case, it culminated in pulling a trigger and shooting two people in their home. So what is he thinking? I want power and control. I want to satisfy my anger. And then what is he thinking afterwards? A firearm is I don't have to touch you to kill you kind of weapon. It's not going in there and stabbing them and beating them to death. That is a totally different type of attack. So he wants to keep it clean. He wants to keep it organized.
He wants separation.
He wants to keep control of the scene and have that distance between him and the victims. So we already know those things by his choice of a firearm, as opposed to his hands, or as opposed to a club or a knife. So we can already understand those things about his psychology. And then, what did he do afterwards is really kind of going to explain what this is all about. Because normally in cases like this, we see the trigger on the front end and we see benefit on the back end.
Explain that. What do you mean?
So murder in this particular case, like in domestic violence homicide, intimate partner homicide, it's conflict resolution for the offender. So this would be like as opposed to like fantasy driven homicides, which are, fantasy driven homicides like the Golden State serial killer, for example. You know, that's a totally different type of murder. But in this kind, this is conflict resolution for the offender. What is the conflict? So we always ask 3 questions when we're talking about staged murder, and this is not staged, but in this, we always ask, you know, who is in conflict with the victim and what is that conflict? We know that they divorced. We know from her brother, from Monique's brother, that she was receiving like some type of threats from
That
him.
she feared him.
And yeah, she was afraid of him. And that's like your classic domestic violence type victim is afraid of the offender.
Yo, this face right here though is nasty work, dog. Yo, I'm sorry, yo. This is nasty. This looks like, it just looks like, yep, that's him. Don't. Like, it just looks, seriously, this face looks like it's inescapable of guilt. And now that Drakesha came up and gave us some more insight about how things working with the access from doctors, the nationwide joints with the My Chart. Yeah, he had a silencer, he had a suppressor or whatever. He had a specific type of handgun to handle those things, or assault, but it's not an assault rifle, even though the police chief said that they found other guns besides just handguns. They also found some a plethora of guns. At the same time, though, you know, it seems like he tried to do this in a meticulous way. There was no evidence of any fingerprints. There was no evidence of anything like that. But him being caught on camera, going into the home weeks before this happened, you know, I'm just curious as to how the Tepes dealt with this, because the Ring camera gives you the ability to see your house, basically. If she was able to see that he was, let's say for instance, she was able to see that he went into their home while they were at the game here in Indiana on the 6th. What action took place after that information came about? Or did she say, you know what, I just want him to leave me alone, but I don't, but he's so crazy to the point where if I say something, he might do something to me or my family. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know where she was at psychologically with this thing. So I'm just curious as to how that took place, because there's no, from what I understand, and if anybody else have more information, just let me know. But from what I understand, there was no contact to the police about him stalking anybody. Although the affidavit says that he was stalking, and things of that nature. I haven't came across a police report or any documentation like Monique actually called the police and said, hey, this guy keeps bothering me. Or if she did in the past and the police didn't do anything like they normally do, nothing, right? Then, you know, that's another thing to look at. You know what I'm saying? So, and outside of just Monique Tepe, there's another person that lost his life, and that's Spencer. Okay, what was he thinking? What did he feel like he wanted to do? What type of conversations was he having with himself? Did he ever but did he ever confront Michael McKee himself on a phone call or on a text or whatever? You know, I think even though Michael McKee is connected to Monique Tepe, Spencer is also connected to Monique Tepe as well. And as a husband who wants to protect his wife from this maniac, what was he thinking and what did he want to do about it as well? You know what I'm saying? So that is coming across my mind too. You know, as far as Spencer. So when they go through these forensics and things like that, that's why I was asking, was there any type of scuffle or anything that possibly took place? Or was it a thing of it's 2-3 o'clock in the morning? Was it a thing of I'm just gonna creep up the steps and just go pow, 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 and dip? And it seems like that's what happened. It seems like everybody was asleep, and he got in there. No one heard anything. And then he went into their room and he just executed them. That's what it seems like. And this is man. This is crazy, man. Like this is something that, like the lady was saying, you don't even feel safe in your own neighborhood. You know, you don't feel safe at all. And it's a lot of they're both just talking. I'm gonna stop for tonight though. I have the link in the description if you want to finish this out. The Drop Dead Serious link is in the subscription. But this is something that, again, like information being able to be accessed, you know, and all this kind of stuff. There is no more privacy. This man was stalking this woman, allegedly. He was allegedly stalking her, allegedly, you know, telling her things like, I can buy the house next door. I can do this, do that. You know what I'm saying? Like that is, and it goes back to what Trikisha was saying when she was up, how he's a vascular surgeon. He's a meticulous person. And you have to have a certain type of personality to be a doctor, especially a surgeon. And to have that meticulousness about you, it's like you're trying to cover each step one by one, and you're trying to use your meticulous skill set from your profession over to what you want to do here. And it seems like a case where, yeah, we know this, we know that, there was a firearm, yeah, we know that, we know there was some gun residue, we know some gun casings, yes, we know that. We saw the Nabin report, from the chief, Elaine Bryant. We saw that. We saw, you know, the video camera of the man walking in the alley with a hoodie on. But today's details about him being at their house weeks before this occurred, while they were at the Big Ten championship game. Okay, how did he know they were there though? Specifically, you know, did they post it on their social media? Is there somebody that they know still holler at him or holler at somebody that know him? You know, but they had a short marriage. They was married for a year and a half ish, 2015 to 2017. That's not a long time being married. But how long did they know each other before that? And so his side of his people got close with her side of her people. They all know each other. They all hang out. Everybody's kumbaya when it's all love. Then when the breakup happened, do those people still talk to each other? Well, just because y'all broke up don't mean I gotta stop being friends with her. Just because y'all broke up don't mean I gotta stop being friends with him. You know what I'm saying? Like who's to say that still did not happen years ago before the whole social media thing became a part of this, or the whole accessing of information became a part of this? Who's to say that it was just somebody still talking? Because let me tell you something. When you be with somebody for a long time and you got friends, and then that person, your friends become their friends or whatever, and y'all break up, and then your friends just keep talking to them, you know, and they talk to you too. And it's like they just going back relaying information, pillow talking to someone that you're no longer associate with. You know, that happens a lot and often. And you can eliminate social media after that because you got a snitch in the camp, a rat, as they say, right? So, you know, that's just something that I was thinking about. No, the fact that they're at the game and then your house is being violated at the same time is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So the details also state in the fact that, it's just the fact that not only did you know where they were at, you was in their house for a long period of time, and then on top of that, you were setting something up like that. That's why when I went back to the listening devices comment, I was like, that makes some sense though. He probably had some stuff on him and play some stuff here and there, so that way he'll know where they at, what time they coming in, what time they going to bed, what time they going to sleep, this, that, and the other. Get rid of the parents, and then he leaves. Kids, no harm to the kids. Leaves without a trace, nothing left behind, nothing out the way. The same way when he went in to their home, he left nothing out the way. They didn't report like somebody broke in. We could tell one of our screens is torn or one of our windows is open or nothing like that. Their house was security all the way in Indiana. So this man went through great lengths, allegedly, to see what was up, with them and to continuously harass and stalk. So this is a very dark, like the lady said on Mass True Crime, very dark case. And we getting some details though. We getting some information. We went through the indictment. I'm going to try to find the affidavit again. I'm gonna probably try to find it tonight. I ain't gonna lie to you. I will get it. I'm sure I will get it. I do have Pacer. So I'm gonna see if it's on Pacer. If it's not on Pacer, then I could find it through other resources. But I really appreciate everybody rocking with your boy, man. Once again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, like, share, subscribe to this channel. Like and share, subscribe, and share this video, share this live stream. I had fun doing this. I had fun doing this and just like bringing our minds together. And thank you all for the corrections on certain things that I needed to understand to get me to understand that, hey, don't underestimate the fact that just because, you've had experience being in IT and you saw some people that was incompetent, even though they were professional, at the same time, he's a vascular surgeon, dog. Like, put your thinking cap on, sir. I'm like, got you. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely appreciate that. Yo, Biz Nation, I love y'all. I appreciate the love. I appreciate you, Keisha, coming up and sharing her piece. I want to do that more often. I want to drop the link, bring people up. We have a dialogue and talk about these type of cases and things like that. And again, I don't know. I've been thinking about this, and I don't know if I want to do this, but I might do this through video. But are y'all familiar with Sharon Moore, the former head coach of the University of Michigan? The former football head coach for the University of Michigan. He got fired from U of M for some egregious messages and text messages and all this kind of stuff. And the young lady he was dealing with, I guess on the side or whatever, she went to the president of the University of Michigan and he got fired. The president of the athletic director, he got fired. And he has a wife and children. And a lot of people was just saying just stupid stuff about the fact that she was white. And I'm like, his wife is white and his kids is mixed. Like, who cares? Like, it's his wife and family. You feel me? Like, we're not about all that. Anyway, he's pleading not guilty. Remember, the lady called. He went to a lady's house. The one that told about what happened, went to her house and said he was going to unalive himself if she don't tell the truth. And it's been reported that he came there with butter knives. And then she called her lawyer first, and then she called the police after that. Then he got arrested. Then after he got arrested, he was, you know, he went before the court, pled not guilty or whatnot and everything. And then now he is fighting his case. Now he is starting to fight back a little bit. He has a lawyer and all that kind of stuff. And there was a hearing that took place in Cedric Simpson, who was like one of the most famous Michigan judges, Cedric Simpson's courtroom. So I think there's going to be some type of discovery and trial and things like that. And so I was thinking about doing this, like covering it, but not live, just doing like videos of it. Maybe I'll do something like that, do videos of it, just give everybody a recap on things and then an update on things, right? So we'll see. But I've been thinking about that. I don't know if I want to do that, but we'll see. Maybe I will. But in the meantime, in between time, you all take care of yourselves. Those of you that are on X, if you are still on X, go ahead and hit the link, hit the YouTube link, and it comes over here to the channel. Go ahead, subscribe to the channel, and leave your comments, leave your thoughts, man, and email your boy. Hey, it's all love. It's all good. I appreciate you all so much once again. All right. Thank you all so much. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the rest of your night. Rest up. I'll holler at y'all in a minute. All right. Peace.
I brought that with me. Case they get too big. Baby, don't stress, don't sweat it. Put it all on my baby. Know how I'm coming, and they know what we hate. Around through that left side, low end. All of mine need more wins. If you got beef, don't come out. Cause my young hitter might go in. Uptown GN, working all through my weekend. Hoping these don't show out, cause all of my hitters too deep in. With the boy, I'm so ashamed. Ain't worried about long as my money and my green. Baby, I ain't got work tomorrow. Tell me what the business is. Ain't about no club hop. I'm trying to start some businesses. Shorty, you thought it was, they better know it's not that. Talking all that online, they knowing that it's not fake. Sliding through my hood, I make maneuvers like a Uber, baby. Got a 10-year plan, these can't tell what they doing lately. And I'm way too clean, I'm Listerine, I thought they been knew it. All in my lungs, I got my red cup full of that hint fluid. Young middle Mad Mac, I'm swinging that leg, I'm banging that do or die. And I ain't that bleedly before I get crucified. Living in my bloodline, this place in my family tree. How the they pressed, I did my best out of what they handed me. Straight out of that country, know my shawty dick as human air. And I need not mention no extensions, that's human hair.